Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Show Boys Newscast, bringing you all the news and no opinion. I'm Mike.
And I am Nick.
Thank you for joining us. We've finally broken away from Valheim for the moment, so we decided it'd be a great time to bring you the news, and we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. We're going to start off on the rumor mill. In the DC universe, Henry Cavill is returning as Superman in a new movie. Conflicting reports have this rumor up in the air. Some say Cavill will be donning the red cape in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which is the sequel to Shazam. Superman made a cameo in the post-credits scene of Shazam. However, it was a shot from the chest down, so it was not showing Superman's face. Right now, it appears that Superman, aka Henry Cavill, will not be appearing in Shazam 2. However, there is some other additional Superman news. Superman and Lois is coming to the Arrowverse. The CW is expanding its lineup in the Arrowverse with Superman and Lois debuting Tuesday, February 23rd. With this and happenings in the past Arrowverse episodes like the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, it's being speculated that Superman and Batman could meet up at some point. According to our good friend and insider Daniel Rickman, the CW wants this to happen at some point, with the goal being to build their Justice League roster into a more comic-accurate lineup. Did you watch any of the Arrowverse shows on the CW, like
No,
Arrow
I didn't.
or The Flash?
Okay, that's what I was thinking they were. No, I haven't seen any of those.
Supergirl eventually came over from CBS or NBC or ABC, one of those. Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, all those shows, they have their own little extended universe on the CW, which it's kind of cool. Moving on, though, Supergirl has been cast in the Flash movie. Sasha Cale from The Young and the Restless has been cast as Supergirl, and Andy Muschietti's The Flash, joining Ezra Miller as Barry Allen and Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton reprising their roles as Batman. This movie is high on my radar, and it's set to crack open the DC multiverse. As screenwriter Christina Hodson explained, quote, "The cinematic multiverse is going to be born out of this movie. It's born out of Barry's story." So it looks like they're going to be going the Flashpoint route. And I've heard that, this movie and the cracking open of the DC multiverse will validate every DC movie that you've seen. Like, everything exists now. The Flash is scheduled for release on November 4th of 2022. And rounding out the DC news, J.J. Abrams is developing a darker reboot of the Constantine series for HBO Max. This new series is being written by Guy Bolton, and they're looking to cast a diverse actor as Constantine, being, quote, "a departure from the one played by Matt Ryan in the NBC series." Constantine is one of my favorite Justice League Dark characters from the comics. The Constantine NBC series was pretty cool. It only had one season, and Matt Ryan reprised his role as Constantine in some of the Arrowverse shows that we were just talking about a couple articles ago. So I'm excited to see what Abrams is going to do with this darker reboot for HBO. If it's anything like Titans, which I've recently finished, and Doom Patrol, which I've recently started, it should be interesting, as those are also on HBO Max. And staying with the superhero topics here, Disney still plans on releasing Black Widow in theaters. Despite the numerous delays, according to Disney CEO Bob Chapek, they still plan on releasing Black Widow in theaters instead of straight to the streaming service. The movie is slated for release on May 7th of this year, so in a couple months, but time will tell if it stays on schedule or is delayed once again. I know they've been kind of kicking around the idea of releasing straight to Disney Plus, or maybe doing a theatrical and Disney Plus release simultaneously. But they keep pushing this movie back and back and back, and eventually it's got to come out. You got any bets on whether it will actually see the theatrical release, or?
I think they might as well just hold out for it because it's been so long.
Yeah, I think it's been delayed 2 or 3 times already. So
I mean, it's about to be a full year. It's supposed to come out last April or something like that.
Yeah, this movie was supposed to kick off Phase 4 of the MCU, which has now been kicked off by WandaVision. But here, we got a couple more MCU stories here. This one's another spicy rumor. It's rumored that 2 of the Netflix Marvel characters may be getting their own Disney Plus series. To go along with the rumor of Charlie Cox, who is Daredevil, and then he had his own Netflix series. Going along with the rumor of Charlie Cox appearing in Spider-Man 3, Geekosity is claiming that Luke Cage and Iron Fist might be getting their own Disney Plus series. They also claim that Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage in the Netflix series, will most likely return as Luke Cage, but Finn Jones, who played Iron Fist in the Netflix series, may not be returning as Iron Fist. Because they think Iron Fist may be rebooted in the future with the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings MCU film. This joins the earlier rumors of the MCU using John Bernthal's Punisher and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin characters, which I personally would love to see. They both knocked those characters out of the park. And lastly, rounding out the MCU, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is bringing back a Captain America the Winter Soldier villain. George St. Pierre has confirmed that he will be reprising his role as George Batroc in the upcoming Disney Plus series. Speaking of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Show Boys companion series will be making its return in March, covering every episode of the new MCU series. So really excited about that. Be on the lookout. It should be lots of fun. What do you got for me, Nick?
Well, we got a little odds and ends piece here. Watch Nicole Castle, the visual architect and one of the directors of HBO's Watchmen series, is set to helm a new feature film adaptation of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. She was cited for her world-building abilities and direction on the series, and no doubt is expected to bring her attention to detail to the Wizard of Oz world. I just think that's exciting for that reason, to pick someone to do a film, because I just feel like that's a good one to reboot, if you will, or whatever they plan on doing with it. Maybe darker.
You do love a good world building. And I've heard nothing but good things about Watchmen. I haven't personally seen it myself, but now that I have HBO, it's definitely on my list. But Wizard of Oz would be a cool thing to reboot for sure. Moving right along, we have a new video network. Theta will be adding Lionsgate films to the platform. The Theta Network, a new YouTube Twitch-like platform, along with the blockchain and cryptocurrency, yada, yada, yada. Nick, the stonk boy, I'm sure is probably rolling over in his seat because I'm probably very inaccurately describing Theta. But they will be adding Lionsgate content to the Theta Network, debuting in March. Theta features live streaming video games as well as uploaded video content similar to YouTube, and now beginning in March will feature movie night screenings of popular Lionsgate movies such as American Psycho, The Blair Witch Project, Leprechaun, and The Wicker Man. Lionsgate will join MGM, Junkin Media, and Cinedigm as premium content on Theta, which also serves as a blockchain technology, like I said. This new strategy for monetization in the entertainment space offers a lot of interesting potential. For a more in-depth explanation of Theta, be sure to tune in to our episode Thursday night. We will be joined by our good friend Jordan to help us understand Theta and its potential impact on the film and gaming industries.
That'll be a good one. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough nut to crack. It's such new technology and ways of thinking and organizing things. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say about that. Plus, those are all very good movies by Lionsgate there. So
yeah,
American Psycho, definitely one of my favorite movies.
Yes, that's interesting. Movie night screenings.
Yeah,
have to look more into that for sure. Moving on to some, more fun news, because that's what we do here. We bring you the fun news. The Umbrella Academy season 3 begins production. An Instagram post by Elliot Page confirms season 3 of the hit Netflix series is underway. Season 3 is set to introduce a new group of characters known as the Sparrow Academy, including the characters Jamie, played by Cassie David, Alfonso, played by Jake Epstein, Marcus, played by Justin Cornwell, Ben, played by Justin H. Min, Faye, played by Brittany Oldford, Sloan, played by Genesis Rodriguez, and Christopher, played by the existential dread-inducing Psychronium Cube. Fun fact here, the series is based off the graphic novels written by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. Now, I knew that it was based off graphic novels. I just didn't know that Gerard Way was the author. That's kind of interesting.
That was a wild second half of that read there.
Yeah, good old existential dread-inducing Psychronium Cube. My favorite actor.
Followed up by Chemical Romance. Jared Way having his hand at some.
Yeah, I've enjoyed what I've seen of Umbrella Academy. I mean, it hasn't blown me out of the water, but it's entertaining. So excited to see what season 3 has in store for us. Speaking of fun series, there's some news for the HBO The Last of Us series. We have Bella Ramsey, who played, now you're going to have to correct me on this one because I've never seen Game of Thrones, but Bella Ramsey, who played Lyanna Mormont?
Close enough.
Okay. In Game of Thrones, has been cast as Ellie, and Pedro Pascal, our boy Din Djarin, and also is somebody from Game of Thrones, if I'm remembering correctly. He's been cast as Joel in the upcoming HBO adaptation of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. Chernobyl's own Craig Mazin wrote and will be executive producing the series along with Neil Druckmann, who was the writer and creative director of the game at Naughty Dog.
Well, between Lyanna Mormont from Game of Thrones being in there as Ellie, and then Pedro in there, and being The Last of Us, I'm 100% going to watch this when it comes out. I like me some Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I think he's a good fit. I'm a little biased. I kind of wish the voice actor of Joel, Troy Baker, would have had a shot. But I mean, hey, it's Pedro. How can you say no?
And Lyanna was a fan favorite for the character she played in Game of Thrones. So it's really cool to see her kind of branch out there. I wonder what else she's been up to. But that'll be big for her.
That's I'm really looking forward to it. I think of any video game adaptation, this probably would be the easiest and most game to film.
I mean, they have a storyboard that's called The Game. They can just do frame for frame for the game, and you got it all.
Exactly. Some more HBO news here. True Detective is getting a 4th season, possibly. Casey Bloys, Chief Content Officer at HBO and HBO Max. I'm glad that they, separated those two entities, like they're not part of the same thing. HBO and HBO Max. That's so dumb. Anyways, Casey Bloys recently said there are talks of a 4th season of the hit series True Detective. Deadline reports that Lucia Puentes, oh wow, I probably butchered that, co-creator of Chromo, and Sam Levinson, who created Euphoria on HBO, are among, quote, those developing a new take on the series. That's exciting to me. I really enjoyed season 1. Like you have said, probably the best season of TV, maybe ever.
Yeah, since that is an anthology series, I would not be entirely mad if the season 1 actors just came back and did, a new season, new character. You know what I mean? Just because I don't know, McConaughey and good Lord, help me out here. Yeah, Woody. Yeah, their chemistry is just so good. I would love to see them come back, dominate a 4th or 5th season, but completely different characters, and still have that same energy.
Let's do it. Sign me up. I'll be there. We have one more piece of HBO news. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but there was actually a post about it in our Discord today. The live-action Mortal Kombat reboot got a trailer and a release date. So the first trailer for HBO's reboot of Mortal Kombat released last week, and it looks very interesting. Appearing in the trailer were the first new live-action looks at Sonya, Kano, Raiden, Jax, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, Kung Lao, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. Following suit with all Warner Bros. Films this year, Mortal Kombat will hit theaters and HBO Max on April 16th, 2021. Speaking of trailers, the trailer and release date for Robert Kirkman's animated Prime series, Invincible, was released. The full trailer for the animated Invincible series was released, and it looks incredible. The series is based off the Robert Kirkman comic Invincible and is set to air on March 26th on Prime. The story revolves around a 17-year-old boy who is the son of the most powerful superhero on Earth named Omni-Man, as he develops his own superpowers. The star-studded cast includes Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead, Mark Grayson. He's playing Mark Grayson, aka the hero Invincible. J.K. Simmons as Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man. Zazie Beetz as Amber Bennett. Gillian Jacobs as Adam Eve. Seth Rogen as Alan the Alien. Jason Mantzoukas as Rex Splode. Sandra Oh as Deborah Grayson. Zachary Quinto as Robot, and Walton Goggins as Cecil Stedman, Ezra Miller as D.A. Sinclair, and finally Mahershala Ali as the villain Titan. This comic is incredible. It's very fun and very dark and twisted. If you know anything about Robert Kirkman, that's exactly what to expect. And I'm very excited to see this animated series. The art looks exactly like it was ripped right out of the comic page, which is amazing. But yeah, real excited. Start soon. The next piece here, our boy Donald Glover is set to star in another new series airing on Amazon Prime because he's not busy enough. And I'm still waiting on Atlanta, so I don't really know what you're doing, Donald. Why are you doing this to me? Just go finish Atlanta. But Donald Glover has announced recently on his Instagram that he will be starring in a Mr. and Mrs. Smith series adaptation with Phoebe Waller-Bridge from the show Fleabag, which is also on Prime. The series will be a new take and iteration on the 2005 movie starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and is set to release in 2022.
That's cool.
It is. Love Donald Glover, so I'm sure it'll be great. However, I don't love that he's not finishing Atlanta.
Yeah, he needs to do that, and he just needs to sneak in onto the movie for Community.
Yes, 6 seasons of a movie. Let's make it happen. We have, a few more stories for you here. The last spicy new trailer that dropped between our last episode and now was for the live action Cruella film, and it also got a release date. So Disney's live action Cruella film starring Emma Stone released its first trailer last week and is definitely a spicy, dark take on the classic Disney character. This movie looks to be an origin story of sorts, and the trailer gives off some serious Joker vibes, actually. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but
I need to go watch it now that you describe it.
Yeah, it's
my wife said it was dark.
Yes, it is. It kind of, by Joker vibes, I mean like the mental instability route, you know, unreliable narrator type storytelling. It looks very interesting and very unique for a Disney character, you know. But Cruella is slated to be released in theaters on May 28th of this year. So, yeah, 3 months. And we can watch this crazy take on a crazy Disney character. And my last piece of news for you all before I let Nick take over for our special segment of the newscast. Jack Black is cast to voice Claptrap in the upcoming Eli Roth adaptation of Borderlands. Now, Black will join Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, and Jamie Lee Curtis in the Eli Roth Borderlands film that is currently in the works. Based off the hit video game Borderlands, the movie will follow 4 vault hunters as they travel to the planet Pandora to hunt down advanced alien technology in an alien vault. This movie is being produced by Arad Prods and written by the Chernobyl writer Craig Mazin. That is one busy man. Old Craig.
Busy.
I'm really interested to see how this turns out. A Borderlands movie?
It's crazy. I think everyone just complains so much about remakes of movies and stuff that now every movie is being turned into a series and every game is being turned into a movie or a series, which isn't a bad thing. But, they're definitely at least trying to branch out here, but it's quickly becoming a pattern.
Yeah. I mean, not that Borderlands wasn't story driven, but it wasn't really story driven. It was first person shooter gameplay driven. They
just need to make a style, like a film effect over it, like a filter that makes it look like Borderlands, but it's still Jack Black. I think that would be really cool.
Well, that art style they do where they kind of like animate over live action.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool take on this. I have no idea that they would do that, but that would be an interesting way to kind of transfer over the unique art style of Borderlands. But I guess to the point of, Borderlands story not being exactly the strongest, I guess that gives them, some leeway of just kind of be able to tell an interesting story in that environment, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, they just need the world, really.
Yeah. And Jack Black as Claptrap will be hilarious.
That name alone is hilarious combined with him. Yeah, that's going to be a riot.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Let's start the new segment of Newscast. Star Boys.
Now starting a whole new series called Star Boys.
That's
just built into the Show Boys Newscast. This is the Star Boys segment. We have some rumors and some news for you. Not too much. We won't spend too much time on Star Wars. We'll let it take a break, let it settle. And
I mean, there hasn't really been any crazy Star Wars news the last 2 weeks, has there?
No, nothing wild. Yeah. And it's, you just got to stay away from the rumors because they're nonstop when it comes to that stuff. And we'll hit on a few of those that are worth mentioning. But 2 new directors have been revealed for Lucasfilm's upcoming Star Wars Andor series. Very excited for this. Ben Karen, veteran of Skins, Sherlock, and The Crown, believe he did 11 episodes of The Crown. And Susanna White, director on episodes of The Deuce, Trust, Generation Kill, Masters of Sex, Billions. I'm pretty sure most of those are all HBO series and more. Will join the previously announced Toby Haynes, who has worked on Doctor Who, Black Mirror, Sherlock, Brexit, and Utopia. So far, that's 3 directors they have lined up here. So Andor, starring Diego Luna, is set to have 12 episodes taking place 5 years before Rogue One and described as a spy thriller. and they are certainly setting it up to have a range of direction, following the footsteps of The Mandalorian and how that's filmed with a diverse palette of directors. So they're definitely building their roster here, their little team.
Yes.
So
I enjoy that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I do like that direction that they take there. So that will be exciting to see.
That's probably the Star Wars project I'm most hyped for is Andor.
Yeah, one, like Pedro, I love Diego so much. Everything he does, I'll take a watch at it. And I like that it's 12 episodes. Interesting number there. And a little spy thriller, right? It's definitely going to be dark. And just the lineup that these directors here so far have directed on, I mean, that's quite a range. So
yes.
I like to see that as well. Moving on. As reported by Kessel Run Transmissions, this is a rumor, they indicate that the star of Disney's Aladdin, Mina Masroud, has entered a verbal agreement to play Ezra Bridger in the larger Mandoverse and is making his debut in Asoka, the series. This has not been confirmed by Disney Lucasfilm, but that may be due to no official contract in place. But that is a good rumor there. And
yes.
they're touting that on the idea that it is a verbal confirmation. So we'll see that probably come to light here in the coming weeks. But having an Ezra Bridger locked in is definitely good news.
Yes, it just confirms our earlier speculation of Asoka being, the next season of Rebels live action.
Right, exactly. Just continuing that. So it's four seasons and a series, a live action series.
4 seasons plus some more seasons
and more
of a different show.
And moving on, and this one I wanted to make mention of because I think it has important context here. In a new interview, Rian Johnson confirms his Star Wars trilogy is still happening and is in development. It has been a quick rumor train to try and play down and denounce the prospect of Rian's eventual Star Wars trilogy, mostly for the hate that he got for The Last Jedi. This has largely been propagated by linking Rian to other projects he's working on, lack of news from Disney and Lucasfilm on the matter, but it is worth noting that the Star Wars creator himself, George Lucas, cites a trilogy takes 10 years to develop, as he did with the first 2 trilogies in Star Wars. So I think that's important to keep in context as we deal with these news, rumors, and different things that come out about Star Wars and the future of it. So while it's been some time before there's been any actual news about Rian Johnson trilogy, it still very much could be in production because a good trilogy of Star Wars takes a while to curate. And I think we've seen that play out both directions. So excited to see what he has to offer.
You might be the only one.
No, that's why it's going to take 10 years.
Hey, more Star Wars, whatever. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So a little bit more there. And that's the end of Star Wars. Don't want to hang out too long in that section. And then this was an interesting find. It isn't exactly news, but I wanted to bring it to light just because it's a cool fan theory. Maybe this can be a new thing that we tag in a fan theory.
Hey, there you go. I like it.
Yeah. So a CBR article that I read has outlined a fan theory by Andres Dipolodi of Cracked that draws comparison between the details of The Lord of the Rings and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, citing that they are of the same universe. It's an intriguing read, and the biggest thing I took from it that it cites the seven dwarves are the weathered and aged versions of the seven dwarven kings, reduced to their most basic character traits by the unnatural life expectancy and decay the rings of power bring, much like what happened to Gollum, among several other interesting correlations he outlines. It's feasible. It's not too crazy, but Prince Charming being Gandalf was probably the biggest stretch. But he supports his thesis there, so we'll have the link in the description.
Nice.
Worth a peek.
That should spawn a new series of episodes for us where we do like film conspiracies, because that sounds like a great conspiracy. But I found one a while ago. I think I probably showed you and Cody like probably a year ago. That you remember the movie Snowpiercer?
Yes, I love this one. Yeah,
about how it's like a sequel, a long distant sequel from Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
And it's like insane how good this guy did at like linking those two movies and explaining it. And it's like it's 100% makes sense in my brain, and in my head canon it is the sequel to Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But yes,
I think I took that same after watching that video you linked. I took the same opinion too. It might as well be, until someone like
proves
official,
unless they come and refute it. It exists. It's the sequel.
Yeah, so this is how it is. So for all intents and purposes, the Lord of the Rings and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs are in the same ethos as well.
There you go. I can get behind that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that wraps up all the news, rumors, and fan theory now. Once again, thank you for joining us. We hope you found this both entertaining and informative. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe everywhere you consume our content. Find all the places we publish content on our link tree,
which is linktr.ee/showboyspodcast. Be sure to join our Discord server and become a member of the Showboys community to hang out with the Showboys staff and other listeners, as well as get some cool perks, such as being able to see all of the articles we had to choose from for this episode of the newscast, but weren't able to squeeze into the episode. And let me tell you, there were a lot of articles this episode. So if you're a member of our Discord and have the chance, you can take a look at the list. It's a long one. You got a lot of good reading material there for you. All the article links covered in this episode will be included in the episode description for your reading pleasure.
If you have anything you would like us to cover in more detail or included in the show, please comment where available or email us at showboyspodcast@gmail.com. And like Mike said, do join us in our Showboys Discord for all the community excitement.
Thanks for listening.
And we're out.
Bye.